Which brings us to Benjamin Netanyahu. He's finally got what he wanted, attention. Netanyahu's been in America for 2 days. He's had engagements, but finally he got to be the star of the show. Yesterday, the Israeli Prime Minister took the mic. He addressed the US Congress. It was a joint session. Netanyahu spoke for 56 minutes, but he had to pause for almost 50 rounds of applause. This is not his first time, though. He's addressed the US Congress in the past as well, 4 times in all. That's more than any other foreign leader. It's an achievement in itself. But what else did this speech achieve? We can think of 3 things. Number 1, Netanyahu defended his war in Gaza. Hamas attacked Israel on October 7th. Israel retaliated, but now it's been 10 months. The death toll is mounting. The world is calling for peace, and Israelis are asking Netanyahu to stop. So, of course, that's the first thing that he talked about.
The day after we defeat Hamas, a new Gaza can emerge. My vision for that day is of a demilitarized and de-radicalized Gaza. Israel does not seek to resettle Gaza, but for the foreseeable future, we must retain overriding security control there to prevent the resurgence of terror, to ensure that Gaza never again poses a threat to Israel.
Takeaway number 2, there were a lot of mentions of Joe Biden. Netanyahu thanked him profusely. He even praised his visit to Israel. But he did not forget Donald Trump. After all, it's an election year in America, and Netanyahu is keeping his options open.
I thank President Biden for his heartfelt support for Israel after the savage attack on October 7th. He rightly called Hamas sheer evil. He dispatched 2 aircraft carriers to the Middle East to deter a wider war. And he came to Israel to stand with us during our darkest hour, a visit that will never be forgotten. I also want to thank President Trump for all the things he did for Israel, from recognizing Israel's sovereignty over the Golan Heights, to confronting Iran's aggression, to recognizing Jerusalem as our capital and moving the American embassy there.
With all the thank yous done, it was down to business to talk about what Netanyahu really wanted. Which brings us to takeaway number 3, the Abraham Alliance. Netanyahu floated the idea during his speech. He proposed a security alliance forged by America and Israel to stand up against Iran's so-called axis of terror. And they won't be alone. They'll be joined by the Arab states, almost like a West Asian NATO. At least that's the proposal. And that's all that it is at this point, a proposal. Netanyahu believes that it's the natural extension of the Abraham Accords. That's Israel's normalization deals with Arab states. They're called the Abraham Accords. Now he wants an Abraham alliance.
We meet today at a crossroads of history. Our world is in upheaval. In the Middle East, Iran's axis of terror confronts America, Israel, and our Arab friends. This is not a clash of civilizations. It's a clash between barbarism and civilization.
But as he talked about uniting West Asia, his speech was dividing America, especially the US Congress. The House may look packed, but half of all Congress Democrats were missing. They were boycotting the speech, and the list included top Democrat Nancy Pelosi, although some critics of the Israeli leader did show up, like Rashida Tlaib, the only Palestinian-American lawmaker. Throughout his speech, he was holding up a sign. It said war criminal on one side and guilty of genocide on the other. But while Democrats are missing, Netanyahu had a special guest in the room. It was Elon Musk. The Tesla CEO came for the address. He sat with a private box, along with Netanyahu's wife and Israeli leaders. Meanwhile, thousands gathered outside the Capitol building. They protested against the Israeli Prime Minister. One protester even spray-painted a Hamas support message on a monument. Soon the situation got out of hand. The security asked them to step back. The protesters did not listen, so police officers used pepper spray. Netanyahu is no stranger to such protests, though. They've been following him ever since he landed in America, but he did have a message for them this time.
Well, I have a message for these protesters. when the tyrants of Tehran, who hang gays from cranes and murder women for not covering their hair, are praising, promoting, and funding you, you have officially become Iran's useful idiots.
So Netanyahu outlined his plan, wooed lawmakers, enraged protesters, and left America in doubt, which sounds like a job well done. But here's something that he missed out on. A ceasefire. There was no mention of a peace deal in his speech. No mention of when the war will end. No mention of when the hostages will return home. No mention of any of these things. He remained quiet on all these issues, which is strange because America is pushing hard for a peace deal. Biden wants to get it done. It's a message he will convey to Netanyahu personally. The two leaders will meet later today, after which U.S. officials are likely to fly to West Asia. This includes CIA Director William Burns and Biden's top Middle East advisor, Brett McGurk. They will meet Qatari and Egyptian mediators. Earlier this month, peace talks were making progress, but Israel's strikes in Gaza derailed them. So this time, America will hope to bridge the gap. Of course, none of it will work unless the Israeli Prime Minister is on board. Does he even want a peace deal? You cannot count on it.
Across continents, one powerful news source.
Bringing you diverse perspectives on the issues that matter.
We go beyond the boundaries to give you that little extra about every sporting moment.
So thank you for making Firstpost 5 million strong. We're counting on your support, and you can trust us to bring you the news unfiltered and unvarnished.
Climate change is on our doorstep. It's time for a revolution to take root. And it starts with 1.4 billion Indians. It starts with one tree for humanity, one tree for Mother Earth, one tree for our future. Project One Tree, a News 18 network initiative.
On the show today, the T20 World Cup bandwagon has moved across to the West Indies.